Hello and welcome to the Big Move Podcast. I am your host, Tony Martinez. The Big Move is the City of Lewisville's podcast as we talk about all things North Texas, especially North Texas growth and recovery at this point. If you haven't noticed, Texas, and specifically North Texas, continue to lead the nation's economic recovery out of the COVID-19 pandemic. Just take a look at some of these numbers. The gross domestic product of a DFW is now at $523 billion. And then taken by another measure, the employment growth is at 2.9% year to year. And this is in a metropolitan area with nearly 4 million employees. And if you own a home in North Texas, you are smiling today because in the last year, your home is appreciated by approximately 20%. That is unheard of. Well, we're going to be talking about all of this and how it affects the city of Lewisville with City Manager Donna Barron as Lewisville begins to prepare for its 100th birthday. We're also going to talk a little bit about the biggest news in Lewisville, and that is the annexation of Castle Hills. But let's begin with an overview of this incredible city. Incorporated as a city on January 15, 1925, Lewisville was settled in the 1840s, the result of a grant the new state of Texas gave to the Texas Immigration and Land Company to bring 600 families to Denton County. By the time it was incorporated in 1925, population was already around 800, and by 1960, the Corps of Engineers had already built the Lewisville Lake Dam, and the big move to one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S. was underway. Well, the city today occupies 36.4 square miles in Denton County and is a home rule city operating under a city manager form of government. The city council consists of a mayor and 5 members serving 3-year terms. Now, in recent years, the city has gained national attention for attracting a variety of companies looking to relocate to North Texas, the heart of the American economy. Many of these companies are in advanced manufacturing, biotechnology, life science sectors, as well as the e-commerce and data center industries. These outstanding corporate entities and the other 9,000 companies that call Lewisville home come here to do business and to raise their families in one of the safest metropolitan regions in the country. If you live here, you know how the State Highway 121 corridor has exploded in recent years. We're working today at Venture X at the Realm at Castle Hills. This was a prairie 5 years ago, and today 120 restaurants and more than 100 retail stores are within a 3-mile radius. No doubt, the big move is on. And you look at some graphic information to sum up Lewisville's growth: a young, medium age, and over 9,000 businesses. That's amazing to serve North Texas. And now let's talk about those businesses and that growth. So pleased to welcome Donna Barron, Lewisville City Manager, with us to talk about what's going on right now. It's summertime, but you were just telling me it's not a slow time of the year for you.
No, it's really busy for cities in the summer because it's our budget time. We're putting together our budget. We're planning for the future. And it's interesting, we're all coming out of COVID right now, and what we're seeing is really an explosion in business development. And so it certainly has us on our toes.
We have so much to talk about, but of course the big story affecting the city right now is, of course, the annexation of Castle Hills. Yes. Such an exciting time. Tell us where that stands right now. We know that December is a projected date for the closing of that annexation. What's the latest?
So we're working hand in hand with Chris Bryant, the developer. So there's various issues that we're still working through, but we plan to annex in November. And so there's a few moving pieces with park ownership and some things like that, but we're so excited. This is the closest we've been. We started working on this project in 1996.
Amazing.
And so we've seen Castle Hills grow from nothing, a farm, to what you have today. A beautiful, vibrant city, over 14,000 residents now living in Castle Hills. So we're excited to welcome Castle Hills into Lewisville, to be a part of Lewisville before we start our 2022 year.
Well, it's a 2,900 master plan community, 2,900 acre master plan community. How common is this for a medium-sized city to acquire another city basically, and make it now what will be one of the top 25 largest cities in Texas. That's quite a feat, isn't it?
It is challenging. So there's not that many cities that will annex a city land of that size, especially in today's world. And the Texas legislature really made annexation for cities very, very difficult last session. And so, but this has been a long-range plan. Chris Bright has had an incredible vision for Castle Hills and what it would be. We have worked hand in hand with him all these years. And so it's exciting to see it come about.
It is exciting, and I'm sure it's very exciting from the economic development standpoint of corporate relocations. What does this do? What kind of adrenaline rush does this give the idea of corporate relocations when you can add Castle Hills and all it brings to the city?
Certainly that corridor along 121 is just really one of the top areas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area now for corporate relocations. So right now, I mean, we're looking at various corporate relocations that might not have thought of Lewisville, but when they want to be along that 121 corridor, and so that's very attractive. And so we're dealing with new and different types of corporations.
Well, some of those new corporations are really doing great work here. You talk about Cardinal Health, you talk about Mary Kay, and Erickson. I mean, three incredible companies, just to name a few. What is it about Lewisville? What is it about Lewisville that's helping these companies make that big move to your area?
Well, you know, one, the major factor really is the tax rate. So our total tax rate is one of the lowest in the Metroplex. So our city tax rate is extremely low. We compare to 17 different cities, and out of those 17, only 2 have a slightly lower tax rate than we do. And so that's really of great interest, and certainly our very positive business climate. So we're here to serve, and we like to work with developers. We like to make development easy and help them move quickly. You know, the time is money in the development world, and so we're very sensitive to that.
And I know you want to talk, too, about what your staff has done to help create this environment. Getting that tax rate to be that low, working with the legislature to make sure this happens is a 365-day-a-year job. Talk about that work legislatively to create this environment that you have here.
Yes, so really we've been a blessed city in that we focused on that, keeping that low tax rate for many, many years. We're a AAA bond rated city, and we didn't get there overnight. So we do work very closely with the legislature. We monitor the bills that are being introduced and make sure they're not going to have a negative impact on us. There was some discussion this session about sales tax and going from destination to origin and some things like that. And so we're always watching that and monitoring that. But really, the state of Louisville and the healthiness of Louisville has really been created over time. Just really good, solid management over time.
Well, great job on that, because look at all the great companies that have come here to call this home. One of those companies, we're sitting in it right now. It's the Realm at VentureX here at Castle Hills. And I'm telling you, one of the great things that has happened here is building a community within a community. And what I mean by that is if you're looking for a place to collaborate, to work, to express your creativity, you've come to the right place. Check this out.
We're going to be talking about our main priorities. We're talking about customer focus.
You know, we relied on people telling our stories more. We have a great production team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a cool stuff that it's playing, you know, it's got to be very innovative.
Hi, this is Tony Martinez, and I'd like to introduce you to Work Innovators Network at VentureX at the Realm at Castle Hills. We'd like to be your experts to tell your story, to put you on our billboards and showcase your expertise.
What's different now than what's been done in the past?
We are using media and technology to disrupt the world.
Development projects to see how we can customize the system.
So you take a look at that and you must think to yourself, isn't it great that we have that community forming within the community? How important is that, Donna, do you think?
It's a game changer for Lewisville. It absolutely is. So when we started looking at annexation and the whole Castle Hills development back in 1996, really it was a balance. We wanted that higher end type housing that Castle Hills would bring, and that was the focus. And so now with Lewisville, you find us to be a very balanced community. We offer a little bit of something for everyone. And so, if you have successful businesses, you need to have a workforce. So we have more workforce housing. We have more of the urban, a lot of the young people today want that urban environment, and that's really what we're focused on in our Old Town area, and some along I-35. And so what Lewisville offers is a lot of diversity and balance.
And at a very young age, I was talking about the median age of 32.5.
Yes.
That's a young workforce for this
yes,
city.
Yes, it is. Absolutely, it is. And so, that really drives. We're close to 2 college campuses, and I think that's partly a factor there. And so, again, it's just achieving that balance.
And now you start looking ahead. We're looking ahead. I know you've been working on this for quite some time, but Lewisville will be 100 years old in a few years.
Yes.
Talk about the Vision 2025 plan and just that extensive amount of work to celebrate your 100th birthday.
Yeah, so we turn 100 years of age in 2025. And so we went out to our residents and we said, what do you want your city to look like in 2025? And from that developed 9 big moves. And they range from Old Town, the redevelopment of Old Town, and that's just really going gangbusters right now. We have the diversity, that urban housing that's coming to our Old Town area, lots of restaurants and entertainment area. And that's really kind of a connection between Castle Hills and the rest of Lewisville, and that's really exciting. Economic vitality, sustainability, being very conscious of that, and then really something that is unique for Lewisville, and that's our green centerpiece. When you step back and you say, how is Lewisville different than other cities in the Metroplex? It really is that green centerpiece. And so much now, I think the younger folks, they're looking for that nature, that experience that they can have that's not just a city experience. So if you look at Leela, that is over 2,000 acres of pure just nature. You go out there and you see deer and wild turkey. The Trinity River flows through it. You can kayak down the Trinity. There's been eagles out there. That's really unique for the metropolitan area. And then from that green centerpiece, we're connecting, we call it extending the green, extending that green experience throughout our community so that every person lives within 10 minutes walk to a park. And that's what people are looking for. And that attracts and maintains that younger age, too.
It makes such a difference. We've experienced that through the pandemic. What it means to get out in nature during this last year has been revitalizing for so many people. And when you talk about the green centerpiece, you mentioned 2,000 acres. Just to put that into perspective, Central Park is less than 900 acres in New York City. So talk about that green centerpiece in terms of what is planned for the 2025 Vision anniversary and how you plan to get the word out to get people to come out there and really enjoy it.
So we have partners, LISD, the University of North Texas. So Leela is not only a place for recreation, beautiful trails, overnight camping, fishing, fly fishing on the Trinity, all kinds of cool things. But it's also a place for research, for people to learn more about nature. So we're looking at partnership with LISD in the development of a nature center. They just built a beautiful education facility that's right next door to Leela in something called Lizdola. But it's a great classroom because, so often kids now in today's world don't get to experience nature. So this is all about teaching those kids what it means to enjoy and love and appreciate nature.
Well, it is so vital right now, especially when you think about the fact that you hear so much about climate change, you hear so much what's going on. Let's enjoy what we have right now. Isn't that true?
And let's develop kids into adults that care about that care about sustainability.
Final thing is to talk about your opportunity here to have this podium, if you will, to promote what's happening in the city right now. What's important that you think right now you want to let people know about to help you express and share the great news about what's happening here in Lewisville?
So Lewisville is a community that appreciates its diversity, that looks to our residents for direction on what they want. That's what 2025 is all about. It's really connecting with the people that live in Lewisville and building this community where people want to live and grow and play. That's it.
It's a great place. And for those people who don't remember, we'll end with this. In 1969, on Labor Day weekend, Lewisville had one of the most infamous yet famous music festivals in history. Tell us about that moment in time in Lewisville history. It was special back in 1969, wasn't it?
Yes, it was very exciting. So back in 1969, right after Woodstock, we had the Texas International Pop Festival, and it was actually held at an old driving course, a racetrack that was in Lewisville at that time. And it was great. I mean, you had Santana, you had huge names, Chicago. Those are the people that were there, and they were seen though to be the hippies. The hippies had come to town, and I think everybody in Lewisville was deputized to try to deal with the hippies. And they spent the night out at Lake Lewisville, and you had campers. Janis Joplin took the stage, so huge names. Just a great thing to celebrate in Lewisville.
Well, Donna, thank you so much for being with us. Great information. Congratulations on Castle Hills and all the great things happening in Lewisville. Great to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Really great. And we'll leave you with some more music from the Texas International Pop Festival. This was Labor Day weekend back in 1969. Enjoy.